In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. This report is dated Sunday, 29th of May 2011. Despite approaching the end of the national safety measures, the authorities continued with their harsh clampdown on the peaceful protesters. Many protests were launched in several towns and villages, like Sitra and Draz, which were all met with violence, even some after had already ended. In the Friday prayer sermon, Ayatollah Sheikh Isa Qasim reiterated the importance of resilience and standing firm, and that eventually the pressure will result in the regime self-imploding. He also condemned the unjust sentences passed on innocent people, and that no decent lawman would agree with such sentences. The protests and candlelight vigils continued unabated, sending a very clear message to the regime. We are standing up for our rights and we will not back down, not even an inch. Many are still imprisoned under the watchful eye of their merciless jailers. Many undergo daily torture, especially the opposition leaders, where signs of their inhumane treatment were very apparent in their attendance in the courts, as witnessed by their relatives. In an unexpected appearance, Sheikh Ali Salman attended one of the military courts, where he testified that none of the 21 accused had planned for the downfall of the regime, but had asked for reforms instead. The case was adjourned to 1st of June. The case concerning the murder of the policeman, Ahmed Lamrisi, was postponed, with details of the case still very sketchy. The defendants in this case are Ali Yusuf Al-Tawil and Ali Atiyah Al-Shamlul. The case was postponed to 1st of June to allow time to find a lawyer to represent one of the defendants. Despite the fact that Ali As-Singais had a broken leg, which exonerates him, as proven by official x-rays, the courts insisted on the death penalty. Rights activists consider the death penalties passed on the innocent to be the rope that this regime will hang itself with. In light of all of these unjust cases by the Bahraini regime, the head of the European Human Rights Court promised to pursue the case against all the human rights violations committed in Bahrain. May Al-Khansa indicated that she was seeking audience before the end of June with UN General Secretary Ban Ki-moon to present documents that prove the gross human rights violations. In their continued campaign of intimidation, on the 23rd of this month, the Bahraini regime prevented the commemoration of the birth of Fatima al-Zahra, peace be upon her, by surrounding the religious centers and preventing others from holding any ceremonies. After complaints from government loyalists, Majid al-Naimi, Minister of Education, announced the reinstatement of all scholarships in exchange for the students signing a pledge to the regime and were given a final warning not to engage in any anti-government protests in the future. As part of the effort in the international support for the revolutionaries, the opposition groups organized a peaceful protest in front of the Queen's Palace in London during President Obama's visit on the 24th of May, condemning the support that the US administration has given to the Khalifa regime. The protesters hoisted Bahraini flags, pictures of martyrs and the wounded, and also held up banners with slogans to support the revolutionaries in Bahrain.